What we have here is a big old mess right at the creek crossing, which accesses the other side of the property. These trees came down in a snowstorm this winter. This bigger one is a California black oak, a very tall one. What is a California black oak doing here in Oregon? Probably about the same thing Oregon white oak is doing in California. The two states share oak reciprocity. It was a shame to see this nice oak come down, but as they say, never let a good tragedy go to waste. I'll be able to get several good logs out of it. We'll put it on the mill, see what California black oak looks like. But first, we'll get this big leaf maple top out of the way that broke off. That was a tall oak. Way back there. And it's not even that big in diameter. Only 18 inches at the stump. Let's see how tall it was. It's about 114 feet, which would not be that impressive for one of these conifers, but that was a tall oak. It had to grow tall to compete with these firs and alders, but it lost the battle. Its height was its downfall when it had too much snow load on it. As tall and thin as it was, with that much tension on it, there could be some stress inside when we cut it open. Could be interesting. I was trying to keep the log from sliding down into the hole to our right, but black oak bark is slick. It doesn't grip to the forks as well as Doug fir or even pine. And down in the hole it went. I'll attach this with a chain so when I cut it off it doesn't roll down into the creek. The Department of Fish and Wildlife and the Department of Forestry don't have much of a sense of humor when it comes to fish-bearing streams. If I was to say, yeah, the log rolled down into the creek and I had to fish it out, they just wouldn't find that funny. They get a little uptight when it comes to these things. Someone forgot to turn on the other camera for this part. We missed out on the money shot. And it only goes downhill from here. I knew this spot was a little muddy, but I didn't think it was that muddy. I know oak is heavy, but I didn't think this log was that heavy. For some reason, the tractor was having a hard time moving it. Something's not right. Now the tractor's having a hard time even moving itself. Have you ever done something so ridiculous you hope nobody was around to see what you just did? Like forget to raise the rear implement on your tractor? Now the tractor can actually move. I'll have to edit that out so nobody sees what I did. And we'll pretend that was the first time I ever did that. The rest of this tree was too crooked for the sawmill, so I cut it up into firewood. Black oak does make good firewood. It's not as sought after as madrone is here. It does produce more ash than madrone, but less ash than white oak. It also has a good smoke flavor, good for cooking with. It's really good on poultry, good on beef too. While I have the saw and the tractor here handy, I should take this bottom part of this maple down. Big leaf maple, named after its big leaves, is a soft maple. It's not usually very popular for firewood, but I like having a little bit of it. It's good for those times when you don't quite want softwood, but you don't quite want hardwood. You want something in between. It's too small and too crooked to put on the mill. Too small, too crooked, and too cracked. So firewood it is. Supposedly you can make maple syrup from big leaf maple. From what I understand, it takes a lot more sap to boil down to make the syrup. But I've heard it has a more intense flavor. These oak logs are looking pretty good. But the stump end not looking so good. A lot of cracks in it. I don't know how deep those will go. I have not milled black oak before. West Coast guys, we don't know what we're doing when it comes to making lumber out of hardwood. With all this fooling around we did with firewood today, we're not going to have time to put these on the mill today. So it looks like this is going to have to be a to be continued.